Well, let's get this started. Let's just play with some new toys that have been released for Swift. So what's the plan today? The plan is to try this new ArgumentParser. It's a Swift package that has been released officially by Swift.org, and it looks pretty cool. There was already some similar package in GitHub, but I've never used it because property wrappers are quite new, to be honest. I haven't had a chance still to use an argument parser that actually uses them to its full potential. And funny enough, I wanted to try this because not that long ago, I think like a couple of weeks ago, I was watching some videos from Jonathan Blow when he was basically building kind of an argument parser library for its language, J. And a lot of the things that he was saying is like, well, let's not try to solve all the scenarios. He was also talking about the difference between this type of syntax or with only one slash, and like, for example, he thinks this is kind of irrelevant. And I kind of tend to agree. I don't really mind. You know, what bothers me a lot is those libraries that have the help as a sub-comment. I hate that so much. I was doing yesterday something with SwiftLint, and I was trying to get the help, and you need to do SwiftLint help without any of this syntax, which is, it's just weird in my opinion. But whatever. So what is cool is that maybe having this, I don't think it's really opinionated, but maybe it helps a little bit to have, like, at least on the Swift ecosystem, to have like a common, more sensible way of writing arguments, APIs for command lines, basically. So the way I plan to give this a try is well, we have the library here, it's open source, it already has like issues and pull requests, many updates already. Typical thing when somebody open sources a library, everybody goes, takes a look, and tries to contribute, helping as much as possible, which is really nice. And the thing is that I realize there are examples, which is pretty cool, because it shows you how you can actually use the library. For example, this simple command line tool that just repeats a number. And it's quite simple to use, I think, so I hope I don't have much trouble with it. And funny enough, it has one example, which is called roll, which is, well, it's similar to what I wanted to do, but there is a slight difference, which is this basically just rolling a dice, as far as I know. Let's take a look. Rolls the dice n times. Yeah, basically you give it a dice, you give it a number of times, and it just rolls it. It has a seed, which is interesting because I also need that. And the verbose, well, I guess it just shows you the total at the end, but if you say verbose, it shows you every roll, which is cool. We can add that too. Anyway, so we have these examples, but what I want to do is, let me show you Xcode. So a while ago I started writing this shift dice command line tool that basically it allows you to put like a dice expression. I don't know how it's called. It's basically a typical thing that if you are playing with like roll table games or like tabletop games, whatever you play, you typically do something like, we probably can use the scheme for this. The arguments, yeah, you can probably see, well, Xcode, hello. I don't know why it's great, but Xcode sometimes is not happy with life, you know. Use the run actions, arguments, and environment variables. Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I've never seen this before. Okay, that's new. well, you can do something like roll 2d6 and add 10 because 10 is your strength or stuff like that. So basically I built a tool that does this, like hopefully we can run it and see how it works. This tool I started quite a long time ago, to be honest. And just recently I made a command line tool with Swift Package Manager on top of it. And where else? Why is it not running? Suspicious. Yo bro, well it says it's running, so but I don't see anything. Maybe we can try with a command line. Interesting. I think now it's... yeah, so from the command line it works. Maybe Xcode was just having a hard time. Can we see what are you doing, bro? So you build it and now you're running it. It's probably getting stuck in some loop, some changes it, maybe. Or maybe it's just broken. So what if I don't send anything? It should give me an error, which is something I want to talk about. So if it works, it'll be nice. But Xcode doesn't want to work today. Is it because I'm using Xcode Beta? Maybe. Maybe we shouldn't be using Xcode Beta. Okay, let's try to use... I don't like this. It was working like 10 minutes ago. Because one thing I already did was migrate to the Swift Package Manager new versions, so Xcode can use it and we can use like a modern version because I didn't use it. I haven't worked on this project since that was done, that was integrated on Xcode. Okay, so I have it open. You're still not seeing it, but let's see if it builds with the Xcode 11.3. It is? Yes, 3.1. So it's compiling. I probably can already change to the new Xcode, which is this one, I guess. There you go. Running. Interesting. Is it running though? Well, looks like we need to debug some stuff before we can start having fun. So weird. No? The thing is, it says it's running. Okay, let me do this. Okay, so I must have some bug somewhere, but this works fine. Okay, well, it works fine. You know what I mean, like when there is no parameter, it tells me that there is a parameter required. So let me try 26%, for example. Yeah, from the command line, it just works. So I don't know what's going on. Let's try again. There's nothing weird here. 2d6 plus 10. I mean, I was trying this again. It just worked before I started the stream. Typical, right? Now we're talking. Now we are talking. Okay, so we have this. So basically, going back to the argument parser situation. What do I want to do? Basically, usually the way I build these command line tools is I make a target for the command line tool itself, and then I make a target for kind of the framework where all the logic goes. So basically the command line tool is just a thin layer that it's what runs, grabs the arguments, and then it just runs framework code. And then obviously the tests. With unit testing, this kind of tool, it's really nice because basically you give it an input and you get an output, super clear. I like parsers, interpreters, all that stuff. It's really easy to test properly, so you can have a good cycle in that aspect. But I'm just testing, for now at least, the core framework, not the command line tool. And then I just defined an executable, there is no dependencies, which is what we're going to be working on now. So that's basically the situation here. And then I have a main file, which I don't know when I did this, but it's very rudimentary. I basically expect to receive the expression that you want to calculate. So basically I check that there are two arguments, because the first argument is always the name of the tool itself. And then if there is no arguments, I just throw a simple error and I stop. And otherwise I basically grab the first argument and hope that it's what I'm expecting and just run with it. And if there is an error, I just print an error. So that's basically a very bare bones interface for this kind of tool. What I would like to do now is, now that we have this new argument parser, why not try to use it to offer a nicer way of interacting with this command line tool. So let's give that a shot. The first thing we're gonna do is add a dependency here. And Xcode should be resolving that. And there we go, we see it there, package resolved, cool. So that's first step done. Let's give it a compile. Well, yeah, the second part is that we need to, which is something I always forget with the Swift Package Manager, that it's that you need to add the dependency to where you want to use it. And here is, if you are ever doing an open source package, you have two options: or make sure the repo name is exactly the same name of your module, or on the readme don't only put this line, say also explicitly that it is the module name, or at least on your example of code show the import and the module name, because otherwise it's a pain in the ass to know what's the name of this. So yeah, word of advice for you. So then we should be able to import parser. This should compile, hopefully, because yeah, so package manager, it's nice. Yeah, it's not like using some other weird open source tools. So what do we want? So basically the idea here is that we create a type that conforms to a protocol, and with some property wrappers we get the data. So I guess we can start by saying that I have a role which should conform to what? Because I think there are different parser or command. Well, documentation is a little sparse. Ah no, there is a folder for documentation. Okay, let's do this. So you can see what I'm doing. So get started. Yeah, I did that. So in theory I need to do a parser comment. Okay. And then use the argument. Okay, so in theory I should be able to access the argument here and say expression should be string. Add the argument, it's like an initializer, okay, because I guess it has, I imagine it has some parameters that you can describe what you're doing and all that stuff. Yeah, you can put help, you can even transform it, that's cool. So I guess maybe you have a custom type or something. Yeah, I see that you use the other one. That's cool. Yeah. So, okay, so we have our expression. What else can we do? We implemented the common logic in the run method. Okay, so now I need to run. Yes, and it's throwable, which makes sense, because what I need to do now is this. Okay, and then finally yeah, basically you instantiate, well, you don't instantiate, no, you just use the static function, I think it is, yes, main, and you run it, and you can pass the arguments. So that's nice. That's nice actually. So I think when you analyze one of these libraries, the API, I think one of the most important things I learned is that a good API, it's a layered API. I think if you do a layered API, you are pretty much golden. And what that means is basically that you build and expose publicly, which is the important part. You build the small pieces of Lego that solve the problems that you want to solve with the library. And that allows the users to basically put them together as they want. If they have special deeds that you're not covering, as long as those basic blocks are there, they can solve whatever problem they want. But then you layer on top a higher level solution if you want, that basically it's like a convenience to solve specific problems that you want to solve, but using the same building blocks. That's the important thing. You don't make the high level with a specific code that it's not shared in the lower level places, for example. So if you follow this kind of pattern in your libraries, you're golden. And it's not easy. It's not easy. It's hard to see what the trade-offs and everything. But one of these ones is, for example, this guy. Like just by the small detail of accepting the arguments here, this library is already allowing me to tweak the arguments beforehand. So if there are things that I want to pre-process, if my library it's running with different libraries, and it means that the user might be able to say, okay, these parameters go to this library and these parameters go to the other. So you can see where the power comes from. And yeah, like this is just more configurability, you would say, but think about the layers. It's not just configuration. Okay, so let's try this. Basically this does, well, except that, well, no, yeah, because that I do a do catch, but they do a throw. So in theory, they should be able to do that. Okay, so let's try. I'm curious what, by default, what it does with this. So let's run again. Use a unresolved identifier input. Yeah, of course, because I need to use the expression. Let's go for it. Okay, that works. Now, what if okay, let me do this. So what if I don't pass anything? What error do I see? Error missing expected argument expression. So it even picks the name from here. Pretty cool. Usage, it's a role expression. Oh shit, yeah, pretty cool, yeah. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, because I already have a something that would be nice. Maybe somebody has done it already. This one. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it would be nice if it tells you the type. That would be cool. Okay, but it is working. So now what I want to try is so the parse is gonna fail, right? So what if I do this? Okay, let's try this. Well, it's not gonna get there because I need to pass something. Yep. It's cool that that warning shows up. Error, illegal order, no ties specified. So basically, yep, it uses the error as expected. Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, there are libraries that do this. I mean, the error part is not that worth it, but it's still cool that just because it's throws, you don't have to deal with anything. You can just throw your errors, and actually the user will see those errors. But now that I look at it close, yeah, it's not doing this. It's basically getting the error, basically the enum definition. Is it because I have to error what? What was localized error or something like that? Is it you? So it is me. I sometimes still get confused with this. Say what? It's foundation. Wait, that's not the one I want then. Yeah, it is the one I want. It is the one I want. Okay. So let's see this. Will it work? Mysteries. Oh, the mysteries of Swift. Nope. Okay, I'm not gonna get stuck here, but we can continue reading. Continue reading. Back, and back, please. Okay, so is there anything else we need to learn from here? Working with named options. Yes, that's fine, but I don't have that issue. But what I can use definitely is the seed. So we could go here and say bar seed, it's an integer, it's optional, and we can say option it is? I think so, right? Option. And we have to do this. Does it work without? I've seen this before. Yeah. This error is confusing. It's so confusing. Maybe it's already fixed on Swift 5.2. Maybe fixed. Maybe it gives you a better error. But this is so confusing if you don't know what the hell is going on. Because it's like, it's not conforming, and you're like, well, the only conformance here it's this. And then you do fix, and it's like, well, init, but why I need an init? So that's because you're not using the property wrapper correctly. Because without the property wrapper, this struct needs an initialization. But when you do this, it doesn't anymore. Which makes sense if you know what's going on. But that error is so confusing. So we could say seed and take a look at the seed. And at this point, I think I'm better doing this. Well, should put it here. I think this is better because it's a pain in the ass to go to the scheme all the time. So we can do Swift run, and so pro tip, if you do Swift run, it works. Okay, it basically, the freeze time will get the dependencies and compile them and all that stuff. Yeah, it's fine. Well, let's actually get rid of that because we're gonna look at that later. Okay. So you can do swift run, and that works. Compiles and done. Cool, pretty fancy. But if you want to pass a parameter, that doesn't work because this argument that you're passing it to the Swift like front end or whatever it is. So to do it, you just need to specify the target or the like basically the command line that you want to call, and now it works. Like the Swift command just passes around the arguments to the right place. So that's cool. So we can try now that if we do seed 1, 2, 3, seed is there. That's cool. And as you can see, it just the roll, it seems to work. Like it's kind of random. Okay. I think I'm using a normal distribution from GameKit, I think it is. Like imagine that I did that because we didn't have the random implementations yet. So it was a while ago. Okay, so now we have this. The thing is, I need to inject this down. Okay, let's do some proper programming then. I think the seed needs to get into the interpreter, correct? Yeah, because it's this guy that needs it. Okay, let's try. I mean, I don't think I have tests for the interpreter because I'm not 100% sure it was the final iteration that I wanted to use. So that's something I'm not gonna bother right now because I want to focus on the command line tool. But let's try to pass here seed, and we can pass an integer. Although, yeah, needs to be a data. Interesting. Are they using a seed of an integer? Yeah. Okay. Well, if it works for them, it works for us, right? And it's not gonna be optional. You need to give a seed to the interpreter. It's up to you. Because what I want to do, let me see, what does it do here? Should I accept an empty? I mean, my idea was it's your problem to get a seed. Because I'm thinking my idea was let's make sure we get a seed, and if you don't get a seed, it's your problem, and you should probably get the current timestamp, for example, which is a common seed. But think that this API kind of handles it already. I think we can do that, to be honest. Still, we probably are gonna show what I wanted to show. So yeah, the seed. Okay. Well, that's on the interpreter, but now we need to go to the main object because this guy also needs a seed now. Unless you pass it on the room. Yeah, why not? Whoa. What was that? Could pass the seed here, but meh. Okay, so now we have a seed. We're not using it yet, which means I need to use it here. How can I get data? Because I mean it's an integer, you know, it's... Is it possible? I've never done this before. Let's take a look. Because the split max thing they are using, what does it accept? Here. This part has done the library. No? Or no? Maybe not. So where does this come from? Okay. Fair enough. Probably can get the bytes. I'm checking. They're just bytes. It's just the bytes, so I should be able to where I am. But I haven't seen the initializer for the bytes. Oh shit. Ah, this one. Okay. In theory, does this work? And the count isn't there a size of no, you have to use the how is it called? Memory something? Memory layout. Memory layout. Size of I think it matters for this case, so let's just use this. Maybe it compiles. seems to compile. Maybe not. Sit is a let constant. Not sure exactly what this is gonna do. Creates a data with copied memory content. So in theory it's gonna copy, yeah, the memory content of the integer. Should work. He said before crashing into oblivion. Let's still print this. For debugging purposes. Okay, yeah, we're using the terminal. So in theory, should run it, get a number, run it again, get the same number, because we're passing a seed. Okay, so we get a 3, and a 3, and a 3. I mean, let's introduce more 3 returns. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm convinced that the seed is there. I'm not sure if you are convinced, but I'm convinced. And if we don't pass the seed, 17, 12, 17, yeah, it's fine. Okay. And if we pass a seed and nothing, bang, missing value for seed. And the usage is you pass a row, you pass expression, and you specify a seed. Okay, that works, it's fine. Okay, so that's cool. So we got the seed and we didn't have to parse integers or anything. We already got them from here. What I'm curious is what more options do we have? Oops. We have a flag. Verbose flag, 2 or 2. That's cool. Let's do that too. Okay, let's do that. Why not? So let's do verbose flag. And for example, we can do if verbose. We can print this. Now it would be cool to have like a logger that you just print to the logger and the logger has this check, because this is gonna be repeated every time. Cool, so it didn't log anything, and if I do this, I still see the error. Cool. And if I do this, I don't see the seed, but if I do verbose, I see the seed. Cool. Cool. What else? Using custom names. Name parameters to the option unflag initializers. Yeah, of course, because the argument, it's a positional argument, it doesn't have a name. The default name specification is long, which is what we're doing. Which is a property name with a 2- prefix. Short uses only the first letter of a property name with a single dash prefix and allows combining groups of short options. Nice. Man, it's super like flexible. It's pretty cool. But the question is, it's not clear to me is, I can pass a name and I can say short, for example. Is this how it's called? Short. And if I do this, now it's not gonna work, right? Because verbose is only gonna be short. Yeah. Oh, that's a bug. Well, I think it's a bug, but it shouldn't say unexpected argument. Ah, no, yeah, because that's the one I passed. Shh, quiet. Yes, but if I do this, bada boom. Okay. That's cool, but what if I want to support both? Is this, well, it's an array, so I guess I can pass long, no? Yeah. And if I pass both, it doesn't care. Okay. Okay, what else they have here? Long, short, custom, long. Yeah, I see. The custom short is a character, so it must be short. It's one character only. That's cool. Wait, that's... Why this doesn't show up on the auto-completion? Because it's not there. Yeah, there's another shirt on them. That's weird. Because it's not here. It's here. Okay. Yes. And if you want to pass one, then it shows all the options. Okay. I see. So anything else here? Providing help. This help for, yeah, that's super cool that it generates the help. Because if you don't pass anything now, it should give you a lot of stuff. Yeah, it tells the expression and it puts the verbose, all that stuff, and if I do help, by default it has help, which is pretty cool. Tells you the usage, the arguments, and the options that you have. Should have information. So help by default has both. Interesting decision. It's interesting because if your command line tool only supports the long ones, for example, it's kind of weird that there is one that is short, but whatever. And you can customize, you can pass a help. So for example, if I do help here, expression, okay, and if I do help, the extentize the role expression to there we go. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool library. Yeah. It's quite nice. It's really nice actually. The complete utility. Yeah, that's everything. That's cool. Okay. Is there anything else? Let's move to arguments, options, and flags. I mean, looks like this is just documentations, nothing more. Flags. You can put a default on the option. That's what I wanted to do with the seat. I wanted to put a default of current timestamp, but I'm not sure that's possible because I don't think. I think it needs to be a static thing in there. Oh, it does. Like the camel case and all that stuff. For example, one thing that I was talking about the API based on layers and stuff like that. One thing that bothers me a lot is that we have Codable that has a property to deal with camel case, snake case, and that stuff, but that functionality is not exposed on the standard library on a string. Which means that if you want to do a custom decodable strategy, you can do it, but now you need to implement that yourself. Like imagine that you wanted to do like a snake case or whatever, and then on top of that change something. Well, you cannot use the default functionality. So yeah, that's a bad design, for example. There is always trade-offs, of course, but that's one example of what I was talking about. We've already seen this. Parsing custom types, yeah, I don't think I need this yet, but pretty cool that you can expressible by argument. That's nice. So you can do this. Wow, that's cool. So what I think I wanted to do because I guess you can do, so you can do 1d6, yes, but what I wanted to do was to roll random, and that would just give me, yeah, that's cool. But in any case, like I will use more this library because one thing I want to do is, I don't know how to call it yet, but I want to do config, for example, and say strength equals 15, okay, and that will save a file somewhere, and then when you do roll you can do 1d6 plus strength, and it will get the 15. So it's like a variable with constants and all that stuff. That's something I want to do, and I think this library also helps with that. Dude, I didn't know it had so many things. So the custom types, that's super cool. Using flag inversions, enumerations, and counts. Prefixes? No. That's super cool. Yep. Is there a page for here, commands, comments? So what do I need to do? Math configuration. I need to do this. And you can put a default. Okay. So if I want to do structure, what was this? Parser, yeah, the same thing. And now I do configuration. Dang, that's a lot of things. I just need an apps, the configuration, the command name, it's automatic. The abstract utility for performing math. Utility to roll dice. For example, this question I get is more should display. If it's yes, it shows it when you run it. Okay, now it's when we have the commands, now it's when we have the default and the help. Okay, so now, and we can define this inside, and then we can do CLI run main, sorry, and we can do what it was, row self, yes, and by default let's do row self. So in theory nothing has changed. Compiled, and if we do this, ooh, what happened there? Well, yes, I mean, that's a bug on my library, that's fine. Cool. But what if I do roll, it's gonna use the internal one, yeah. And if I do something else, it's not gonna know what it is. And if I do help now, it tells me that. So if I do row, yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Well, I guess I will have to call swift dice. Yes, let's do that, because if the subcommand is row, Swift dice it is, so executable is Swift dice. Which now it makes more sense because you can do Swift dice row help. And now it makes more sense. What it's cool is that by default it picks the, would you want to specify a default? Quantity, boom, that's a crash, I need to fix that. Yep, cool. That's nice. And now I guess what I can do is, well, to be honest, bye bye. And I guess I can just do this. So here I could say stats, personal comment. In theory I can do stats. Is it? Ah. No, I know. What? That's interesting. So when you do Swift run, it basically interprets the file. It interprets main, so if the order is relevant, like when you're doing a script, that could be. But now I don't understand why this is failing. On the scanner. Well, I mean, yes, of course, because I need to write here, you dumb bus. Cool. And now I can set up this separately. That is pretty cool if you ask me. That's cool. That's pretty cool that you can have subcommands so easily. And you can put the abstract here, I say. that actually it's so many possibilities. I'm super happy with this, honestly. Like, this saves so much time. And really, there are libraries out there, but this one is super complete. Like, really. Like, in all the libraries I've tried, there was always something that was like, oh, but I want an argument, but I want to be able to skip it or something like that. I'm not sure if this covers all the cases, but it's pretty close. Yeah, you can customize the help. Yeah, oh, we have done that already. Ah, you can customize this. Ah, that's what I was saying. So if you want to say help, they have both, but if I go here and I say help names and I just say short, no, I want to say long, then when you do help, the H is not going to be there anymore. Exactly. Really? Impressed. They thought of everything. Do you want to suppress features under development? What? That's super cool. So imagine that we want to hide the verbose. What is? So what do you do? Help hidden. What options do you have here? Help none. Well, it's not an option also, yeah. And now if we do draw help, I don't know if I save the file. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the verbose is not there. Wow, pretty cool stuff. And that's the next level. Like, I think you can even, that's what I wanted to do with C, like validate it and give the timestamp by default. So you can custom validate stuff. Yes, see, that's cool, because I could easily say that people want this on the library. Oh, I should be able to say arguments and then say min3 or whatever. And that's where things get out of scope really quickly. But instead, if you provide the validate, then it's like, guys, up to you. You're gonna still do it. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, that's normal. I thought it was something special, but no, it's just throwing an error from run. Cool. Yeah, the validated stuff, thumbs up. And there we go, manual parsing and testing. Provide your own array of command line inputs and work with parse results by calling alternatives to main. Who preferred strike down the left edge of the screen? What? What is that? Yeah, this I've seen parcel level arguments. So you're not making a command, you're making a parcel level arguments. That's cool. So he's like, yeah guys, you don't want to structure your comments with the run here or all that stuff. So basically the way I had it before, which I just had just this run and that's it. So you can just move this part into an object that is parserable arguments, and then you can just parse that. So you get a typed version of the arguments, which is basically what pretty much everybody does at the end of the day. Oh man, that's super cool. And then you can just work with them. Pretty cool. You can even get the comments. Parser root. And it gives you the comment object, which then you need to cast because it can be anything. That's also super flexible. And finally, what I was saying before, that you can filter or modify whatever, and then you can just pass it. Dude, amazing, huh? Honestly, great work. Not only with the library implementation or whatever, but the design of it. For now, I'm a huge fan of it. Yep, I'm a huge fan of this. Super cool stuff. Yeah, definitely. Whoa, well, I think it's time to eat over here. That's the end result for now. So, a typed version of parsing arguments on the library. Huge thumbs up for the argument parser. And yeah, like we already have this set up for the next features that I wanted to add here, which I was just pushing because I don't want to get down into testing all this stuff and parsing arguments. Like if you even check here, I was just commenting this, yeah, and now I can actually have a comment that shows me the parsing step by step, for example, and like for example I can do that on verbose. So that's super interesting. Huge fun. And that's it. That's how it looks. Yeah. So nothing much for now. Probably we're gonna keep looking at this at some point. So if you're interested, I may show, because I need to test the interpreter and I need to polish it a little bit more. But we have seen that it kind of works. I still want to have the verbose output. As I said, that shows me the tree of the expression, because I'm not 100% sure, because I did that a while ago and I'm not sure if I finished it or not. But it should be pretty much there. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you next time.